84% of Georgians define themselves as Orthodox Christians, and many feel their traditions are threatened by Western liberal values as the country prepares to formally apply for EU membership in 2024.
Of course, the Church supports the idea of Georgia becoming a Western democracy. And we are a part of Europe. But we shouldn't have to lose our culture, to lose our traditions, and replace them with other traditions.
If a vast majority of Georgians support the country's bid to join the EU, most also reject the bloc's policies regarding LGBT rights. In July 2021, a pride march was cancelled amid protests and violence.
Around 4,000 people were mobilized by church, and they were therefore praying in front of the parliament. So it was a peaceful anti-LGBT protest. But around 1,000 people were this active physical force which executed the operation, and they were scattered all around the city. On that day, the EU flag were burnt twice.
For Georgi, there's more to the protests than homophobia.
It's not about LGBT rights. It is weaponized to undermine the pro-Western path. But the overarching idea is Russia trying to destabilize the country, using LGBT rights to create this political tension in Georgia, to attack the Western values, because the LGBT rights is considered as something coming from the West.
For now, the Georgian government remains committed to its EU integration plans. In Kiev, Ukraine, thousands took to the streets in 2013 to ask for a path towards EU integration. The Maidan Square was occupied constantly for over 3 months, resulting in the resignation of the pro-Russian president. The Kremlin's response was swift and brutal. Paramilitary forces entered eastern Ukraine to support the anti-EU Russian-speaking population. Since Russia has annexed Crimea and Donbass is locked in a latent war.
Russia is already operating inside Ukraine. What other proof do you need? When we capture prisoners of war, they have Russian passports.
This former factory in Advika is on the front line. The enemy is just 100 meters away. Here, the fighting never actually stops.
They have no strategy. They shoot at anything, at any moment.
At the end of 2021, Russia started massing troops on the border. Observers worry about an invasion, but these soldiers are dubious.
They say an attack is imminent, that Russians are amassing their forces. I don't think it's going to happen. They'd lose too many men.
The Ukrainian government has no means to force the Russians out, so it has decided to fight back on the ideological front. A law voted in 2015 bans all traces of the Soviet era. Streets and cities named after Bolshevik leaders have to be rebranded. Toretsk, a declining miner town, is a good example.
In accordance with the Ukrainian law on the condemnation of the communist and National Socialist or Nazi totalitarian regimes, and prohibiting the propagation of their symbols, Dzerzhinsk is renamed Toretsk.
Dzerzhinsk, named after Felix Dzerzhinsky, founder of the infamous Cheka, the communist political police responsible for the killing of hundreds of thousands of Soviet citizens.
That was a person, Iron Felix as they called him.
Why that name?
Well, I suppose those were his character traits.